So recently I came across this video of this pastor talking about Starbucks, and he's saying completely normal, sane things such as,
I've been done with Starbucks for a long time. It's communist coffee anyhow. They are full-blown 1,000% a witch's coven. I promise you it's the facts.
Well, seeing this guy talk brought me back to some of the hysteria that I remember in the 90s and 2000s regarding some of my favorite games and toys. One of the most famous examples that I remember was this guy talking about the Pokemon trading card game, and listen to some of the stuff this guy says about Pokemon.
Pokemon. Pocket Monster. The spiral. And it stands for what? Male fertility. He's in this pose. 3 fingers. It means hail Satan.
Now, to be clear, I know many normal, level-headed religious people. This is just an extreme case. Now, this kind of thing's been going on for years, and they even touched on it a little bit in the show Stranger Things, when they're trying to catch Eddie Munson for murder, and they use their Dungeons & Dragons club as a way to make it seem like the kids have been influenced by the game to murder people.
Studies have linked violent behavior to the game, saying it promotes satanic worship, ritual sacrifice.
But today, I want to talk about how this mentality has affected the game Magic the Gathering. In particular, I want to talk about a certain story, something that happened a few years ago, in which a man was actually murdered for his Magic card collection. Now, this is of course a very sad story, and I am in no way making fun of the tragedy that happened here. I am, however, going to make fun of how the media covered this story, and the way that they painted Magic as a game to the public, in order to push this satanic game narrative, rather than just, blame the people who murdered. So anyways, they put out this news special where they recreated the entire story using actors. And I remember watching this years ago. So in the video, they're describing the case. And look at what they say when they reveal that the victim played Magic the Gathering.
But there's something about Sean the detective doesn't know. Patty explains that her friend has spent years trawling the underground world of a fantasy role-playing game called Magic the Gathering.
Trawling the underground world of Magic the Gathering. I don't know about all of you, but my local game store is a bright, open, clean place. I certainly wouldn't refer to it as an underground world, but then they show him up in this comic book store, and he kind of looks around so no one sees where he's going. And then they have him secretly descend into this smoky underground dungeon to play some Magic cards.
Magic the Gathering has been referred to as being very addictive.
This is true.
And it's been called cardboard crack.
It's a never-ending make-believe battle for survival. But some players take it too far.
And that's the line that blows my mind here. Some players take it too far. Like, which other players take it too far? You've got one murder case across the entire planet related to Magic cards. So who else is taking it too far? Give me an example. Do you know how many people have been murdered over sports gambling in the past? So where's my report that says the sick, twisted underground world of the National Hockey League? So anyways, this guy owned a very valuable Magic collection, and these 2 brothers wanted his cards. They needed the money, so they ended up murdering him, unfortunately, and it is a very sad story.
Sean's habit has won him some high-end cards.
It's a Black Widow, which Sean had.
It's not Black Widow, it's Black Lotus, you stupid idiot. I'm joking, it's an honest mistake.
In this world, the cards are worth a real-world fortune.
I'd heard estimates from $25,000 to $100,000 on the entire collection.
$25,000 to $100,000 is a pretty big gap. So as you can see, they really try to make it seem like these guys were involved in some addictive, satanic, mind-altering game, which I think is pretty rude because it puts blame on the victim of the murder, as if to say, if he wasn't playing Magic the Gathering, this probably would have never happened. Instead of blaming the psychopaths who murdered him, stole his Magic cards, and then buried him in a tote in their backyard. Well, anyways, this got me thinking, is it just this news article that's painting Magic in this light? Or what is the general consensus on Magic when it comes to these religious extremes? So I did a bit of underground trawling of my own, and I found this website that asks, is playing Magic the Gathering likened to believing in the occult? And they give this long answer, and I'll just point out a few of the best parts. So first it talks about how there was a bunch of backlash over the game in the early 90s, and then in 1995 they took out the word demonic and demons from the game. But then in 2002 they just couldn't help themselves, and they brought back cards like Grinning Demon and other demons going forward. Then it says they can't recommend participating in the game because the purpose of the game is to kill the other guy before he kills you with spells, enchantments, and creatures like Chaos Orb, Bad Moon, and Animate Dead. And then it says people that play Magic, including Christians, will counter this argument, saying that you can deliberately avoid the darker characters, if you want, including Liliana the Necromancer, an immodestly dressed female character. First of all, you leave Liliana out of this. And again, they talk about her being immodestly dressed. But do you know how many religious people love football? And last time I checked, their cheerleaders were dressed a little bit more immodestly than our friend Liliana. Then it says people might argue that it's okay because the purpose of the game is not to actually cast spells and kill people, but to just outwit your opponent because it's a game. But then it says we disagree with that sentiment. Though, make believe, such games can open the door to participation in the occult, and at least encourage make-believe activities, including necromancy and nefarious sorcery. For example, when one uses the Infernal Spawn of Evil card, the game's instructions direct, reveal Infernal Spawn of Evil from your hand, say, it's coming. Infernal Spawn of Evil deals 1 damage to target opponent. Now wait a minute, what card is this? I don't recall there being a card that directs you to say, it's coming out loud to your opponent. So I had to look up Infernal Spawn of Evil, and guess what? It's a card from the set Unglued, which is a fake joke set that Magic made, and this card in particular has the word demon scratched out and beast in its place. This card is literally making fun of this entire situation. That's why they printed it. And the image on the card is a Christmas mouse holding a hot chocolate wearing a scarf. So I think this joke might have gone way over their head, and it's kind of hilarious they use this card as their example of why not to play the game. The card that's making fun of how ridiculous it all is. Now, there's a ton of stuff like this online that you can read, and I find it all pretty hilarious. And again, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody's beliefs with this stuff. And the thing I try to remember is that back in the late 80s and 90s and even 2000s, the whole concept of these card games and sorceries and casting spells, this stuff was all very new to kids and didn't exist before. So I guess I could see to an extent how some religious parents might see this and suddenly their kids are playing with all these demons and things like that and maybe get concerned. But if you're the kind of person that has it inside of you to murder somebody else, I really don't think that the fantasy card game is the issue. You probably have some psychological issues beyond the game. I can confirm that when I go to my local card store and play in a Magic tournament, there is minimal Satan worshipping going on. Anyways, let me know in the comments if you ever experienced this kind of thing growing up, or witnessed this kind of behavior towards your favorite games. I would love to hear your specific stories. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
That is made and distributed by Wizards of the Coast. What is a wizard? Male practitioner of black magic.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, why not try one of these ones next?